Hi, viewers. Today I'm going to be sharing a story about expectations, identity, and the courage to follow your own path. In many African households, your dreams are rarely just your own. They are shared, they are shaped, and sometimes even sacrificed by the people who raised you. And when you decide to choose yourself, to chase a dream that doesn't fit the family script, the consequences can be quiet and heavy. This is the story of how I disappointed the people I love the most to finally stop disappointing myself. I grew up in a busy house in Kumasi. It was a 3-bedroom home filled with 9 people and even more expectations. My role in the family was clear. From a young age, I was the quiet one, the good girl, and the dependable firstborn. I rarely questioned instructions, and no one gave me room to. When I was 10, my grandma declared, Irama will become a lawyer. Irama will become a lawyer when she grows up. And from that moment, it was settled. I was introduced to visitors as our future lawyer and handed dictionaries instead of storybooks. I was enrolled in advanced classes and pushed towards subjects I didn't even love, but knew would make the adults around me proud. What I really loved, though, was music. I never had the guts to talk about it. I composed songs in my notebook, played the piano at church, and stayed up late listening to soundtracks. Music made me feel alive, but in our house, music was a side dish, not the main course. It was entertainment and not a career. So I kept my passion quiet, hidden, and safe. In my final year of SHS, while everyone else was applying to study law, medicine, or engineering, I stumbled across a scholarship opportunity online. It was for a 4-year degree in music composition at a prestigious art school in Cape Town. I read the flyer 3 times. Then again, my heart raced. The deadline was just 2 days away. Without telling anyone, I applied. I uploaded one of my original compositions, a piece I wrote after losing my aunt. It had no lyrics, just melody, but it said everything I couldn't put into words. When I clicked submit, I closed my laptop and whispered a short prayer. God, if this isn't meant to be, please close the door gently. 2 months passed and I had almost forgotten about the application. Then one afternoon, my cousin came running in from the front gate, waving a brown envelope from South Africa. I locked myself in my bedroom, tore it open, and read the first line. We are pleased to offer you full admission with a 100% scholarship. I froze. Then I cried. But it wasn't only from joy, it was fear. I had just been given permission to chase the one dream I had never been allowed to say out loud. But it meant I now had to face the people I had spent my whole life trying not to disappoint. I waited until Sunday, after lunch, when everyone was gathered in the living room. My uncles were watching football, my aunties were laughing in the kitchen, and my younger siblings were scattered around with their plates of rice and stew. I stood in the doorway, clutching the envelope. Can I speak to everyone for a moment? I asked, trying to steady my voice. Heads turned, the room was quiet. I took a deep breath. I have been offered a scholarship to study at a university in Cape Town. Cheers erupted. There were smiles, there were giggles, there was happiness. My father raised his glass and said, "Our lawyer is finally going international." I hesitated, then said, "It's a music school." Ooh, the silence came instantly. One of my uncles gave a short laugh. "Music? As in drumming and dancing?" Another leaned forward. "So what exactly will you become? A DJ? A backup singer? I mean, what exactly?" My grandma shook her head slowly. "After all this investment in your future, this is your plan? To go to music school?" My mother, she didn't say a word. She looked at the floor, then at me, then away. My father, he stood there, walked out of the room and closed the door behind him. I tried to explain that it was a reputable program, that the scholarship covered everything, that this was the one thing I felt born to do. But they didn't hear that. They only heard the sound of a broken tradition. For the next 3 days, I was treated like a stranger in my own home by my own people. No one addressed me directly. My mother avoided my eyes. Meals were made, but my plate was left out. I heard whispered conversations behind doors and over phone calls. Words like shame, waste, and disobedience. One night, my little brother crawled onto my mattress and asked, "Are you still going to become a lawyer?" And I said no. He whispered, "Then don't tell Nana. She said you are no longer her favorite." On the morning I left for Cape Town, there was no send-off, no prayers, no proud pictures, no well wishes. My mother stood by the kitchen sink, her back turned. My father didn't come out of his room. I left a note on the dining table. And the note reads, "I know you don't understand right now, but I hope one day you will hear my music and know I never stopped loving you. I just had to learn to love myself too." The first year in Cape Town was hard. I missed home. I battled self-doubt. I almost quit twice. But every time I sat at the piano or saw my name in a festival brochure, I felt quiet. A stubborn kind of joy. I graduated with distinction. Hooray! I scored soundtracks for 2 award-winning short films. And 3 years later, I was invited to perform in Accra, the big city. I didn't tell my family I was coming. But when I walked on that stage, I saw them. My mother, my father, my grandmother, all sitting in the front row. They didn't clap until the final note ended. But when they did, they stood. My mother cried. My father hugged me tightly. And for the first time in my life, I heard him say, "We are proud of you." Choosing yourself in a culture built on collective sacrifice is never easy. But sometimes the greatest gift you can give your family is becoming who you truly are, even if that means disappointing them first. So if you are watching this and sitting on a dream that no one understands, I hope you know this. It is not selfish to choose yourself. It is necessary. And one day, the same people who questioned your path might sit in the front row and applaud you for walking in any way.